Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this breakout session on quality childcare. Before I introduce our speaker, I just have a couple of reminders. Again, I'm sure you have been told numerous times, but this session will be recorded and it will be available on the conference platform about an hour after the session ends. Feel free to ask questions or put comments and thoughts in the chat box on either the Zoom platform or the conference platform, whichever works best for you. And we will do our best to watch and monitor those. If you have questions that you would like to ask, feel free to unmute yourself. And if you're not able to, let us know. And, by putting your hand up, raising your hand, and I will be sure to get you unmuted. So I am happy to introduce our speaker, Kelsey Trower, and she is going to kick things off for this session.
All right, well, thank you, Carrie. Welcome, everyone. My name is Kelsey Trower, as she said. I work for Childcare Aware of Kansas, and in my daily role, I am a family engagement specialist. I am extremely pleased to be joining the conference. It looks like you guys have been going for quite a while, yesterday and today. So I'm glad to get to spend your 3 o'clock slot with you. So I believe many of you serve families through home visiting programs. And I want to just start by thanking you all for your commitment to serving families and connecting them with resources and supports. In 1 mile. You are vital to our Kansas families, so give yourselves a quick little squeeze, little applause. We appreciate you. As we talk about connecting with resources and supports, we're going to be connecting you with resources and supports about quality childcare so that you can continue to connect that information with the families that you work with. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about here. Give me just a second. I am not one of those multitaskers that can talk and click buttons at the same time. I keep thinking the more that I'm remote that I'll be able to do that, but I haven't quite achieved it. All right, so you all seeing my screen? Nope.
No, I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
Make sure you check the box for sound too.
Okay. Hopefully you all can see now. All right. Well, as we already know what we're here to talk about. All right, so this is kind of just a quick framework of what we're going to discuss this afternoon. We're going to talk about CCR&R services. We're going to take a look at quality childcare and why it matters. We're going to talk about how we support families in their search for quality childcare and options for families to get involved in community childcare efforts. So in your line of work, like mine, I believe you guys are probably familiar with acronyms. I'm going to add one more to your list today if you don't already know it, a CCR&R, which stands for Child Care Resource and Referral Agency. Just about every state in the nation has a child care resource and referral agency. And in Kansas, we have a network of 4 CCR&Rs that support our state. Our goal is to ensure that kids have enriching early learning experiences within supporting caregiving environments. Parents and caregivers have access to quality, affordable childcare that meets their family's needs. That childcare providers stay on a sustainable career path that allows them to support their own families and provide the best care for children. For employers to attract and retain a quality workforce, and for communities, whatever size they may be, as we have such a variety in Kansas, to provide a high quality of life that keeps their residents and attracts new families into their communities. Give me just a second. I was sharing with Carrie, and I'll share with you all, I have had a little bit of a cold, so I may have to pause here and there for a quick sip so I don't cough. So through our partnerships with our state network, and including probably many of the agencies that you work for, we are here to ensure that all families have equitable, consistent access to high quality early care and early learning opportunities for their children, which benefits us all, right? All right, so let's hear a little bit more about what a CCR&R is from experts around the nation. Hopefully the sound works. You'll have to let me know, Carrie.
Childcare resource and referral agencies are a trusted resource for families looking for childcare. We help families like you find childcare that meets your needs and provide informational resources based on your request.
We want to improve the quality of early education and childcare programs, and that's what a childcare resource and referral agency is here for.
We are in a unique position to link families and childcare providers and the community together and get all of your childcare answers in one place.
Childcare resource and referral can meet many of your parenting needs.
For locating childcare, training for childcare providers, training for parents, information related to services available in the area.
They're given different options of potential childcare programs that may meet their needs.
We serve your family, we serve your provider, we serve your community all across the state.
Childcare resource and referral agencies serve local communities.
We have families that speak a variety of languages, and our staff is able to serve that. Myself, I speak Spanish and English and can help them.
I feel like childcare resource and referral can help families know things like where to start. Many times parents might say, you know, what rates do you charge and do you have an opening? There's so much more that you need to know before you put your child in the care of someone else.
And we walk alongside at so many different levels of a child. So if you have an infant, what we can do is we can help you connect with that early care that you're needing. And from there, once your child enters school, we can help find that before and after school care, different programmings, different agencies that are going to meet your needs at each age of your children.
I would tell other families that child care resource and referral agencies are excellent to be a part of and to work with. They have helped us find funding and resources that allows my son to go to a special therapy preschool here in Kansas City, Missouri, and wouldn't be able to be a part of so many other activities and committees and supports in the city that they've helped me get in touch with.
They helped me go to Washington, D.C. to rally on the White House for child care changes.
Since you know about childcare resource and referral, come see me. Come see one of our staff members, call us, visit us on the web.
Just put into your search Childcare Resource and Referral Agency.
You are the reason that we are here. So please reach out, connect with us, give us a call.
We really want to be a resource that kind of rises above the rest so that parents know that we are a trusted resource.
You are the expert with your child. You know your child better than anyone else. Our agency can help you find the questions to ask, ensure that you're getting a quality program.
Okay. I'll kind of give a quick overview of CCR&R services. And I kind of want to point out our partners. You may have heard these agencies before, and you may not be aware exactly of what they do. So these are our 4 partnering agencies. We have Childcare of Kansas, which is located in Salina, and it covers pretty much the western half of Kansas, 64 counties. We have Child Start down here in Wichita that covers 5 counties. Over here, we have Childcare of Eastern Kansas that's housed in Topeka, but serves 33 counties. And then we have the Family Conservancy in Kansas City that covers 4 counties. So we all partner together. Many of us have remote staff that make it possible to, provide services statewide. So why does quality childcare matter? Let's take a look at what the research is telling us. So the health and safety of every child is of course at the forefront of, I think, everyone's minds. It's at the forefront of a quality childcare program. And so is overall child development. A child's brain is forming new connections every single second, and taking advantage of that is essential, which means we need that in quality childcare programs. Two things that help shape the developing brain are genetics and experiences, which are those things that happen in quality childcare programs. As you can kind of see here, there's some different points on what is happening in the early brain. 700 new neural connections form every second. Genetics plus experiences shape the developing brain. And vocabulary at age 2 can predict third grade reading achievement, which is pretty wild when you think about it. So many of you already have a deep understanding of what critical brain development is that happens in early childhood. So for the sake of this training, we're just going to cover the tip of brain development, so you guys can kind of get the bridge between brain development and quality childcare and how those two are connected. As you can see here, there's a critical window for establishing those neural pathways. Research shows that the majority of brain development occurs by the age of 5. More specifically, 1 to 2 million new neural connections are formed every single second during a child's first 1,000 days. For many children, including my own, who are now in middle school, those days were spent in an early childhood program, in a family childcare program, actually, and then later on in a preschool. So as you can see, at the age of 6, there's a heightened number of brain synaptic activity occurring. From 0 to 3 years, rapid brain development occurs. You can kind of see what's happening in the picture at birth and how we move to 6 years, and it's just exploding. This creates the foundation for lifelong health, intellectual ability, emotional well-being, and social functioning. As children get older, the brain starts to prune and it starts getting rid of those connections that it's not using, which is why you kind of see in the 14-year-old image that it's got a few less. Essentially, you want to see how it's emerging as a young child, all those experiences, all those learning opportunities that are happening throughout their day is what's leading to that 6-year-old connection development. Through everyday engaging experiences, back and forth interactions, sharing with the child, constant communication, learning through play, all of those help develop these connections that are critical to a child's development. So now we know why quality childcare matters, but how do we support families in selecting childcare? I'll let you take a look at this slide here and see some of the quality childcare indicators. This is just a few of them. Many of these do have licensing regulations built around them, so that it's ensured that these health and safety ratios are existing, but there are additional steps that can be taken as well. Another thing I think that's important when we're talking about supporting families is that each family is like truly unique, as you know. So their needs may have elevated quality indicators. One family may need a program who is focused on meals and have nutrition-based development opportunities. Others may have quality factors such as outside time that are elevated for their family. So really you have to connect with the family and see what is most important to them and to their child. We're going to hear from Lynette Fraga from Childcare of America, and she's going to kind of give us an overview of a few of the indicators that we're going to highlight today.
Childcare can be difficult to define, but here are some elements of quality that are crucial to a well-rounded, healthy childcare experience. First, group size should be small so that providers can give children lots of individualized attention. Quality childcare also incorporates plenty of physical activity time and developmental screening practices and follows food safety guidelines, healthy food, and very little to no screen time. Providers should be well prepared to support, engage, and work with children and families from multiple backgrounds and lived experiences. Finally, families should be involved in and with childcare for their children. This could include keeping them updated on their children's growth and progress and development, and linking parents with resources that can help them and their children, such as access to developmental screening and information about health and social emotional wellness.
All right, so Lynette mentioned those 4 points, and we're going to kind of dive into those indicators a little bit more. And the reason why I'd like to highlight them is as you're working with families, these conversations may come up. And I feel like this is helpful information for everyone to have, especially in early learning, as we are all, I feel, responsible for the development of our young children. So we're going to talk about some health and safety indicators, such as the healthy meals, the physical activities, little to no screen time, and the rest time available, as she mentioned. Group size and ratio. We're talking about staff interactions, spaces, forming relationships, developmentally appropriate activities, and peer relationships. What is it that a family is looking for? We want to talk about family involvement. Excuse me, just a second. Where, oh, so sorry. Why did I just go zooming through there? Family involvement. So I feel like this is a topic that we don't always cover, but when a childcare program forms a partnership with families, it creates an environment in which a child can excel. Those strong relationships that are respectful helps set the foundation for your child to have a strong relationship, positive relationship with their childcare program. When families are searching for childcare, we want them to consider, is this a communication style that I appreciate? Do they have family engagement activities that I want to participate in? Remembering that every family has a unique style that they are looking for. And those are questions that we want them to consider when they're selecting their childcare program. Okay, so for the group size and ratio, we have families consider the group size. Not all families are looking for a larger class. Some may want a smaller class. So although KDHE has a license requirement for how many students can be in a classroom, some childcare programs choose to have less than the ratio that's defined. So families can kind of go into a classroom and see if this is a smaller group that they're looking for, or are they fine with a little larger class? Does the space of the group meet the environment that they're looking for? Will the space allow for the different types of developmental activities that they want for their child? Can they engage in many meaningful relationships in that space? So to summarize, for a family of how we have them can think about considering selecting a program with those indicators, here is the list of things that we want them to be thinking of. This is a foundation for their child's development of all of these things: skills to problem solve, interactions with peers for a lifetime. All of these lay that brickwork that they need in those when their brain is developing for these things to continue to develop into their young adult lives. So now we've kind of talked about what a CCR&R is and what quality childcare looks like. I'd like to take a quick pause for any questions, if anybody has any questions on CCR&Rs or quality childcare before we get into our next section. You can put questions in the chat, or you're free to unmute and ask any questions. Give it. All right, I'm not seeing anything from Carrie, so we'll keep going. So now, how do we help families in their search for quality childcare? So as I said, we have a network of CCR&Rs that support every county in the state, which also means we're partnering with just about every childcare, over 4,000 childcare programs in the state on some level. Some of our childcare programs are involved in our programs that help assist in developing those health, safety, and overall development factors. We also work with providers quarterly to gather their potential openings. And we take that information, we house it in our database. And then when families call to get a referral, we're able to share current information on if a program has an opening or not. So we have two primary ways for families to search for childcare programs. And this is one that I think many people in my communication with lots of families across the state is they're just not aware of. So that is our statewide referral center. Families call and speak with a resource specialist. The resource specialist is there Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I regularly get emails from those of you who are working with families saying, I have a family who's looking for childcare. Can you help me get them a list? So this is how we do that. We have you share this information with them. They call our resource center. The specialist does ask the family a few questions, where they're looking for childcare, the age of their child. And then they do a few filters, and then they're able to share a specific list that's unique to that family's needs. The resource specialist is also, we have a bilingual resource specialist available. We also have a language line available so that we can support all of our families. It's something that I think when I get emails from people who are like you, who are supporting families, many times they're looking for just a list of programs in their area, but we want to take it a step further and provide educational materials that are about searching for quality childcare. We want to talk about licensing and how to check licensing. So when you call the resource center, you're getting more than just a list of programs. You're getting a list of programs unique to that family's needs, as well as educational materials on quality childcare. And I'm going to show you guys some of those materials that you guys can access at any time, if it's something that's helpful to share with the families that you serve. So let's talk about our second option. So we also have an online search, which is where most people start. They Google search childcare in Kansas, and this is what they find. So they go to the search database. You can access it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's mobile friendly. It has Google Translate. It is the same option as talking to a resource specialist. However, I will say this. Occasionally, families will select too many options because we all want the best for our kids, right? So they will put in, I want all of these things. And as we know, we have a shortage of childcare programs. So their search online may indicate that there are no programs with openings. That is why I encourage those who are in support services to talk with a resource, to call and talk with a resource specialist if possible. I can also connect you via email. We can do a search via email with a specialist. If a family just cannot make those timeframes work, it does mean that the search is going to take a little longer, but they're still going to get that quality service. This online search also has all of the resources that families need to select a quality childcare program, which is what we're going to talk a little bit about next. So we're moving into the steps families can take in selecting a high quality childcare program. We ask them to schedule an on-site interview, and in the referral, we provide a list of questions, and you can see that image there. And this is also on our website. I'll show you where you can find it. We say, ask these questions. Look from your child's point of view. What are they seeing? Always check that they follow basic health and safety guidelines. You're going to want to get their, as I said earlier, hopefully before you've even set up the interview, you've checked their licensing information in the KDHE portal to see that they're compliant. So when they get their referral list, it comes with, here's your steps to take, and all of this information on choosing quality childcare. So finally, we're going to kind of get to the heart of what we talked about a little bit earlier, which is we know that there's a lack of childcare. We've learned about quality childcare, how to find it, how to select it. But as many of you may have experienced yourself, we have a significant shortage, which means families are faced with difficult decisions, honestly. Do they stay in the workforce? Do they change positions to find more flexibility in caring for their children? We've had families piecemealing childcare together. So they're having family and friends, each take a day or an afternoon. And they're often sometimes even choosing options that are less than desirable for their family because they have such limited options. It is kind of a, how would I word this? It is a sad state that we are in, not the state of Kansas. It's sad that we're in this shortage that we're in, but it doesn't mean that we all just accept it for what it is. So many of our partners across the state are working to tackle this capacity issue. And as the work continues, we ask that families share with our partners and businesses, share their voice on what is affecting them, get involved in the conversation in their community. One of the things that we encourage families to do, and you can see this on the screen, is on our website, we have something called point in time data, and this may be valuable to you all as well. This data shows exactly what their county is facing. It shows how many childcare programs there are, how does the extent that desired capacity meet demand. In many of our counties, they may be short 50% of the potential demand. So they can take this data, or anyone who wants to advocate, take it to their local community policymakers, the change makers, and use that data and their voice to make changes, to shape changes. We also, at Childcare Work Kansas, have connections to many of the state's childcare coalitions, and many communities are even developing new childcare coalitions. And they are looking for parent voices to help shape their efforts. They're also looking for those with early learning knowledge to shape their efforts. So we will connect families. They can go to our website and select the community. You want more information on community, and our community engagement navigators will reach out and assist them in finding their local childcare coalition so they can connect with them and start sharing their voice. Another thing is, in these conversations, we discover many families who hadn't considered opening a childcare program themselves, but in these discussions find a passion for caring for children and are considering operating one themselves. And so we can help them get connected with those resources. Speaking of resources, to wrap up, we're going to discuss some additional resources that might be beneficial to you all as you're connecting with families. So I mentioned we have consumer education. We have a texting service that we do for providers and for families that does child development information, recipes, and more. Always, of course, there's tons of information on social media. I think this is how our current resources page looks. So if you go up to either the resources or the families, there's a drop down for family resources under the families tab as well. On this page is all kinds of educational materials for families, including child development information. We have many agencies that will just request to have some printouts of those, and we are more than happy to provide you with those. We have the checklists on there. We have information on getting started searching for childcare. And those are all brochures that we have printed out, and we are more than happy to share with you all if you want to pass along to your families. And then this is what the drop downs look like for all of the child development resources. This is where any of you are welcome to do this too, especially probably for our community. We have emails that go out to community support services 2 times a month, gives you updated information on childcare landscape, what is happening, how you can help. And there's also a family newsletter that goes out once a month. So families can join that and get more up-to-date information, new resources that are being shared. Also, I don't think it's on here, but Kansas Child, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Kansas Child. It's a quarterly magazine that we produce. And the thing I love about Kansas Child is that it brings together people from across the state and sometimes even the nation, voices. Our last issue was on nutrition and health. And so we had experts sharing what's happening locally, what's happening at the state levels, what's happening at the national levels. You can go on our website and also sign up for it. It's a, what do they call that? A digital copy. So you just get an email when the new one has been released. There's no cost. And I forgot to mention, of all things, that all referral services are free, no cost to families. So that is extremely beneficial. They do not have to pay for a service to find out childcare program if they have openings. All right, well, does anyone have any questions? Feel free to unmute, drop it in the chat, however you want to do it.
All right, so we've got a couple comments of this is awesome and very good information. And then Maria just put, although undocumented workers are not allowed to work as employees in the US, they can work as self-employed as long as they obtain an ITIN. What are the rules in Kansas for undocumented childcare providers in Kansas?
That's a very good question, and one I do not unfortunately have an answer for. Carrie, do you happen to have that information?
I don't. I wish I did. I have just enough knowledge of the childcare here at KDHE, you know, to be dangerous, and this isn't one of the dangerous areas I know about. But we can definitely, I will write this down and connect you with our team at KDHE, who maybe can answer and help direct you in the right direction.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, or connect with their local KDHE licensing surveyor, and they should have that information. You know, I'm going to share here really quickly. Oftentimes I have, like I said, I will hear from people who are supporting families. Today I heard from a school district social worker who is supporting a family looking for childcare. On occasion, we have a family who isn't able to access, they're needing that support through the conversation. So although we could not provide, our license does require us to only provide a list to families who are in search of childcare. If there is a support service worker who needs to sit in on that conversation and the family is comfortable with that, you all can call the resource center together and have that conversation. Because many times you will want to hop on there really quickly and pull the list yourself, but you will see on the database, you will see an indicator that says this is just for families looking for childcare. So that doesn't mean that you aren't able to continue supporting them. Please connect them with connecting to a resource center specialist, or showing them how to do the search online, however works best.
So I wonder how many have utilized the resources already.
Yeah, is there anyone that has used child cover? Yeah, so many times I hear, no, I didn't even know.
Right.
So I hope this has given you some background into, hi. You know, background into how we're supporting families and childcare programs. Again, like I said, if you have an office where you want some information displayed, like the referral center, we have little pullouts where you can have a phone number, anything like that. If you, is my email shared for them to see?
Yes, so out on the conference platform, so the Pathables website, you'll have Kelsey's contact information to reach out and connect. I did want to mention a couple things did come into the chat. So Dana had said she just referred a family to the website yesterday, so that's exciting.
That is exciting.
And then Sarah was asking, with the child tax credit expanded to all Kansas businesses, are more businesses contracting or offering childcare?
Yes, so right now we have across the state, we have community engagement navigators who are sharing that information. They're getting the word out about that. I do think that we're going to see an increase, but right now, you know, I think it's just the beginning stages. So they are working with businesses. Our community engagement navigators are working with businesses, chambers, to get that information out there. Any sort of new programming that's coming out, funding that's coming out, they're sharing those with the communities so that they can get connected to those resources. And sometimes that means also help navigating those resources to the extent that they can. As many of us know, there's a lot of things that can be involved with funding and resources. And so our community engagement navigators have that knowledge and are able to kind of assist and guide.
Great. Okay, so Julie is asking, what support do you give to childcare providers? Do you have incentives to meet their goals, such as nutrition?
I'm going to just say this up front. We are not doing anything with nutrition. That's CACFP. Most of them, not all providers choose to do CACFP, but some do. There are no incentives right now. There is funding that is grants that are being provided to providers to help sustain them and keep them open. And that has been ongoing since COVID. Okay, so I'm sorry, there was a two-part question there. I'm going to go back to the first one. So the support services, we have a lot of support services. We have CCHC, which, do you know much about CCHC, Carrie? I don't want to, if you want to share, you're welcome to.
No, go right ahead.
That's our childcare health consultant network. And we have 3 different levels of programming for childcare programs, and we're partnering with KDHE to provide that. And then we have, I think they just recently changed the name to Program Support Assistant. Give me just a second. I knew I wasn't going to remember the name of this when they changed it. I thought, don't change it, I won't remember. That they work with, it's provided through DCF. And so those providers are working on program assistant support. That's what it is. They're working with childcare programs on development, and both of those cases, providers are opting in. They choose to join those programs. We also have early learning classes, and each of our networks provide different services. So there may be additional services that each partner, CCR and our partner, provides, but many of them provide trainings. Actually, all of them provide trainings. And all of this information can be found on our website.
Well, while we take one more second to pause, I just want to remind you all that the session will be available on the conference platform about an hour after we end. And there is another session starting at 4, so please feel free to hop onto that through the conference platform. But if we don't have any other questions, we will let you all start your break a couple minutes early. And
Thank
we
you
will
all for
see you at
joining.
4.
Thank you all. I hope you have a great wrap up.
Thanks, Kelsey.